Okay, you guys can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Please, I want us to be responding so that we can move very fast. Okay, so you can see my. I'm quickly going to just quickly have a display of how it works so that you can see it. Now, this is just like the home screen. Can you see the screen? Can you see the welcome page?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you see the welcome page?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we can.
can.
Okay. Okay.
We can see the page.
Okay. Okay, good, good. So now what I'm going to do now is that, so building this application now, let's quickly start. Um, the first thing you are going to build is your home route. And when you click on the home route, this is what you are going to have. And let me quickly open that so that you can see. I'll be doing the display and showing you how it works. You understand? Now, if you come to our app.js, where is the app.js? Okay, so this is app.js, right? So let's see the logic there. So if you look at line 22, can we see line 22? Please let's respond so I will know you are following. Can you see line 22, right? Okay. What we are having there is a get request on the what? On the root directory. And what we are trying to uh, what we are having as response there is to render this index page, right? This is the index page. Now, this index you are trying to render must be in your view folder. This is the view folder, and this is the index, right? If I open this now, you will see what is there, right? So that is what we are trying to render here. And as you are rendering it, you are setting some variables here. You know, these are as your nav in your nav bar, right? So this is how you are going to set this. And you're having guide, you're having sign up, you're having dashboard here. Route here now, you are see what we have here is guide and login as a value for the nav. If you look at slash login, what we have is just guide and sign up, depending on what you want to be displayed of maps. Now, we are specifying that because we are going to be making some kind of JavaScript. We are going to be writing some JavaScript, you know, around this particular variable called navs inside this index. Now, so let's look at the index.html and see what is there. So if you come to your view now and come to index.html, so before I leave there, please, do you understand this line 22? Please, let's quickly respond. Do you understand what I write in line 22? Any question there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very clear. Good. Now, let's now see the index.ejs, see what we have there. Now, in that index.ejs, if you look at it closely, this is the head of the HTML. So put touch, all this link that you are seeing for now, do away with the link. Let's just go to the body. The body starts from this line 27. Can you see it now? Now, here we are having a look at this. We are having include partial slash header.ejs. we are having it in the body here, right? Now, what is this? Look at it here in this folder called partial. If you open this partial now, we are having header.ejs there. I believe these are not new to us, but I just need to mention it because I'm familiar with it here. Now, if you look at this header.ejs, I am trying to bring it here inside the index.ejs. That's why I'm saying include partials slash header.ejs. So that is what we are adding to the index, right? So if you look at this header.ejs now, you are going to find that navs there. That navs that we specified when we are trying to render this index.ejs. You can see that navs there. That navs is saying dot for each. You can see it's a JavaScript we are writing inside a what? An unordered list UL, right? So in this unordered list, we are having nav. Do you understand? You can use any variable you like. You can call it anything, but I'm just using navs here to specify it, right? That's saying navs dot for each. This is a loop we are trying to do here. We are trying to loop over. Let me split this screen so that you can actually get what I'm trying to explain here. Now, let me split it and go to that app.ejs. This is app.ejs. Now, let me go there. Apps here. We are trying to loop over each of these. Loop over there. So when you are now looping, let me bring this here. So you can see, as we are looping, we are saying dot for each of them. Then we say nav, each of the nav, each in a list li, and saying the href, the value of this href now should be slash each of those nav, each of these. So we are saying that should be the value of the href. Then what will be displayed to be clicked on so that we can have a route, because this is a route on its own now, right? This particular URL, for it to function, then you put a value that can be clicked on, which is going to be that same value, whether guide or sign up or dashboard, right? So that is what we are having here. Syntax is very simple. When you are writing it, just write your JavaScript function. Do you understand? Then after writing it, you can now put all these EJS syntax, this less than percentage, greater than percentage. You can just put it around it. And that is how you write that, right? That's how you write that. So it's very straightforward. Let me just uncomment it and write it, so that we can actually get the way it is written. So like when you have your nav now, right? And inside that nav, we have another list function inside it. What do? You just say navs. I'm writing it so that you can get the simplicity there. Navs dot for each. This is how you write it. Nav dot for each, right? For each, right? For each nav, then you put your arrow function, right? Then you put this, then you come down, right? You click your enter button. Then when you say nav dot for each, then what do you want in the list? Then you put your li, your list. Then inside that list, you need an anchor there, right? Because you want it to be a link. That's why we are putting an anchor there. Then in the href, that I'll grab the value. Are you getting me? The value, this nav. Now you are saying for each nav, what do you want to do with the nav? You want each of the nav to be a what? To be a URL that can be what? Redirected to. So you now say slash what? Slash nav. That's what you have. Slash what? Slash what? Slash nav. So this is what you want to have, right? Slash nav. Then inside that, you also want to have what? You also have a nav. Okay, when this thing is going to be is going to be, is going to be rendered. Now you are going to have slash guide. You are going to have slash have here. Do you get it now? But because this is an EJS, you cannot leave it like this. That's where you now start commenting. Then you now start putting this symbol, at back and front of them. So you come back here and say, okay, you put that percentage, right? Then this is a value, right? This is a value. This nav is a value. So you are going to come here because this nav is going to be a value you are trying to grab. So you now say, you put percentage here too. Then you now put equal. You get that now? Then behind it too, you do the same thing. You put the percentage, you put this symbol, right? So then this one too is also a value. The value is guide. Percentage and equal sign. Do you understand? Here too, you put what? You put percentage and what? And that's how you are going to be putting it in front and at the back. So is having equal and this one is having equal because they are they are assigned a value to them, and that value is guide, sign up, and dashboard. So that's why we're having it. But here, we are only making a statement here that's saying max dot for each. We are not assigning any value, so we don't have equal here, but we will have equal here because we are assigning a value here. Is that clear? So that is exactly what we are doing here, so that we can have the page rendered, right? Is it clear now? So let me remove this. So that is inside the index.ejs. So when you go back, let's go back to that index.ejs. So that's the page we are rendering, right? Special there. So we have the partial, then down footer.ts, right? Because that is also in your partial folder. Do you understand? So that is how we got that. So let me go back to the page. Now you can see, before we start explaining in details. Now, if you come to sign up now, let's click on sign up. Can you see the sign up page is being displayed? Then we can now say username. Let even in this class. Let me use Chibuke. Chibuke. Chibuke 123, right? Let's say this is the password. Please, can you hear me? Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's very good. So let me submit now. When you submit now, what happens? It goes to your login page. Network. Okay, user already exists. Oh, yeah. Okay, before. Yes, I could remember I had a session with him and I signed up with that name. Yeah. Chibuke, are you there?
Yes, boss. Yes. Yes, I'm
Hello?
here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Can you remember that we signed up with your name before?
Yes, yes, yes.
We are redirected to this page. I'm going to show you that. So now here on this page, you can click on sign up again and use another person. So who do we use now? Let's use Dili. Let's use Dili Igwe. Dili Igwe. As Dili Igwe in the class. Okay, let me use Dili Igwe 1, 2, 3 as well. Okay, so let's submit now. Is not an existing user. You can see we have the, then we can now log in now with his name, Iligwe. Okay, then the password, Iligwe 1, 2, 3. Is that correct? Okay, good. So let's log in now. Can you see now? When we log in, it's showing us welcome Diligwe with his name to your task management dashboard. So when the task is completed, click the pending button. Okay, let's see how this works now. So here you have create task, you have guide, you have logout. You can see we are having different things to click on now. You know, it depends on what you need. Show you how we come about that. Then you can now say, okay, what to do state. Now you can come here and create task, right? So create task. Now you can see there is a page. What do you want to do? Then attend a class. Let's say attend a class, for example. Then you can now submit. So, and it comes with pending by default. So I'm going to show you how we come across that, how we come about that pending, right? So you can task, you can say visit a friend, visit a friend. Okay, so submit. It's network. Okay, that is added. Visit a friend is added, and it's coming. But when you are now done with any of these, when the task is completed, we should be able to mark it complete, right? So the way this my own app is being designed, what you just do, the instruction is or otherwise. So you can click on this pending button when this attend the class is done, then you see what happened. Let's see. You can see it's changed to completed when it is clicked, right? So when this change it to completed, okay, good, it's completed. And when any task is completed, you can come here and delete. So when you click on delete now, it's deleted. Can you see this? Delete. So you can see. So this is what we are asked to build. Is that clear? So when you come here, you can log out. When you click on log out, it redirects you back to the what? To the welcome page. Can you see that now? So now, how do you our code? Now, what we do is that, let me close this one. So I've explained the index. So let's go to the sign up. Play with how the index is being rendered. That one is straight and direct. There's no logic behind that, right? Can I? Hello? Hello? Hello, are you guys with me?
Yes,
Yes,
we're
yes.
Okay, that's very good. Any okay, good. Let me move on now. So please, if you have question, please just intersect and ask your question, please. So I want I at least we try to carry everybody along. Now, in line 25 class, I want us to, interact, ask questions, but let's move on. Now, this is app.get/sign up. sign up. What happened? What happened is that we are going to render a sign up page. And this is what we want in our nav bar. We want only guide. You can see what we have here is different from what we have here. Do you understand? That is how you make it dynamic, right? What happened? We are seeing a get request on sign up, right? So what is the logic here? Because there is a logic towards signing up. Let's go to sign up. Let's go to sign up / sign up, right? Okay. Let's go to sign up. Okay. Get request for sign to use user. That's where we have the logic there. We go to our user. Coming. Where is the user? Okay, the user route. Okay, good. Now, me making a post request. What I'm just showing you here is just how to get. Let me go back. See, what is here is just a get request on the sign up page. Do you understand? It's just a get request on the sign up page. But when you are signing up, there's something like, okay, let's start from there. This is a get request on the sign up page. Now, let me open this get is running was sign up. So let's go to sign up.ejs. Let's take it one after the other. Now, in this sign up.ejs, when it is being rendered, let's go to the body. The body is from line 27, right? And don't bother about all these one for now. Include partials. Yes, I've explained how partial / is main now in the body of the what of the sign up. There is a form there. What we have there is a form. And in that form, because when that page is being rendered, there is a form that is there. If you remember, I have a form on that sign up page. And this form is having a URL / users / sign up with a post method. That's what we have on that form, right? And this is the form here. Let me open it. Sign up. Can you see the form? This is the form. On that app.get / sign up, it is rendering this page, right? It's rendering this page. And that action is what you are seeing here. That is when you enter a username and a password, we should have an action that is of users / sign up. Now, which means that we need to write an endpoint. We need to write a script that will give us an endpoint to this / users / sign up. So what should happen when there is a request, a post request to / users / sign up? What should be the write a form? You are going to write a code, right? Let's go there now. Let's go there to / users. Now, this is where we have that. This is a post request on / sign up. What first thing you do is to do this middleware dot validate user. What does that mean? You want to validate that username and password information, the way you don't want it. Like, for example, now, if I come here now and I try to sign up, do you understand? Sign up, I don't put username, I don't put password. There is this message, invalid information, right? Username cannot be empty. So it is that validation that undoes that. That validation undo that. So here you are having middleware were here. And that is with the use of joy. You use joy to do that validation. So I've explained this one in previous tutorial, so I will not be going to all this again. How you use joy to validate. I want to believe you are all familiar with that, right? So you use joy.string, .md.require.message, so you can customize your message here. Do you understand? And say username of now. After validating, what do you do next? You are calling a particular function, which is what? Create user. Because signing up is a post request that should create that particular user in your database. Right? And if you open it, you will see, let's go there. Let's open that create user. You can see that create user now is a service function. And what do we do there? We put our username and password. We pass it there. It's a JSON. There, right? So then we are assigning it to user info. Having done that, we now need to check if that particular username and password is already existing in our database. That's the first thing you check, right? So after checking that, if existing, then you can say user already exists. Please note this, right? Because the user already exists, that's going to be a conflict, right? Good. Now, note that this function, we are not having anything like request and response there, because it's a service. What is a service function? Do you get that? Then here you see that you can now create. You can say user model.create. Then you are then you return message successful with a code of 200. Then you return the new user, right? Good. Now, this return statement here and this return statement here are logic for the request and response for the response. Now let's go back to our user route and see what we do with this. The code is 409. But if the user is not existing, we have created a person with a code of what? 200. Now, what do we do with this 409? Again, you will now see that we are assigning those returns to this variable called response. That's what we are doing in line 27. That whatever that is being returned in this create user, which I just showed you, we are assigning everything to what? To response. And we are now saying that, okay, if response.code is what? 200, yes, that's success, right? That means the user has been created successfully. Then we can now redirect to /login. Can you see that now? That was how we got to. If that code is 409, do you know that is what it means? Because that's the only code that we have in that service function. Aside 200, we have 409 code. So this else now is saying that if the code is what? Is 409, we direct to /existing user. Right? Now, this login and this existing user, both of them are get. We are making a get request. Because whenever you are redirecting, please note this. Whenever you are redirecting, you are making a call to a get request. I repeat, anytime you are redirecting, you are making a call. So, which means that we need to write a get operation for /login. And we need to write a get operation for what? For /existing user. Do you understand that now? And you can see the way I write the URL. I say /login, which means from the root directory to log in, because this is where so many people face, a lot of bugs. You need to understand how you specify the URL in the redirect. So /login means root directory to login. /existing user means root directory to what? Existing user. So that means you now go back to your app.js now. App.js, you come back app.js and write for /existing user. So look at 29 now. This is get. Do you understand? So that you can complete that particular how would I call it? If the person is successful, you are redirecting to /login. Then what do you have? You need to write a get request to /login. Then in that get request, this is when you now use .render. So you now render that login. Do you get now? You now render login. You cannot use render immediately here. Where are we coming from? That user route. You cannot use render here. You can't use render here, because if you use render here, of course it will. Why you are now coming to login, the URL will be /sign up. So you cannot use render here. So you use redirect here, so that you can now have, you can now specify the URL for login. That's where you're now redirecting. So when you now redirect, then you can now come to your app.js and now what? Render it here in line 30. You now render that login. Do you understand? So you already have a login page in your view. So whatever you are rendering or you are redirecting to, you must have developed that EJS in your what? In your view folder. You can see this is my login now. Do you understand? When you render, your EJS engine is going to look for that particular variable now, which is login now. That particular route now you are trying to render, it will look for it, which is login here. So that is why you are having that. Then what happened next? You have, I've explained all this one. That is what you want in that particular bar, nav bar, right? So that is how you do that. Therefore, for existing user, so you need to write a get operation for that of what? Of the existing user as well, right? So you have /existing user, then you render that particular existing user page, which what you want to appear. You want sign up login there, right? Because if a user is not existing, then the person should have the option to sign up, or even, peradventure login. You understand? Signing up. So any question on that before I move to login? So because we are now on the login page now. So let's go to login page now. Let me log in. Let me sign up with my name. I'm a user. Sulaiman 123. Submit. Okay, sign up. Sorry, user already existing. You can see. Can you see now that we are redirected to one already exists, right? So you can come back to sign up and sign up with a different person. Do you understand? So let's go to login page, because now for login page, let's explain that. But any question on the sign up? Do you get how the sign up work? How we are redirected to the login page? Any question before we move to login? Yes. Hello.
Not from me. Not from me.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. In the absence of no question, let's go to login. Now, on this login now, let's go there. We are having something, because this login page has been rendered. Now, let's see what is in the login. In the login page now, we are now saying, okay, this there should be a redirection. There should be a post request to /user/login /user/login. There should be a post request when the person enter username and password and click on the submit button. We are all familiar with this. We know how to write all this one. So when the person click on the submit button, then there should be a post request to /users/login. What does that mean? It means we need to go and write an operation, a post request operation for what? /users/login, right? So let's go there now. Let's go there. Let's go to our user route, because this is saying /user/login. So that should be in our user route. Let's go to our user route. Can you see? In our user route here, if you come to line 19, okay, if you come to line 19, you can see line 19 is /users/login. Line 19 is /users/login. But where is the users? Who can answer that? Where is the user? I'm saying /users/login, but we are not seeing any user here. So what is happening there? Can somebody just tell us?
It's in the app.js.
Yes.
It's in the app.js. So
okay, it's in the app.js. God bless you. It's in the app.js. So I want us to see that. If you come to app.js, let me just quickly show you. You will see that I said the user is a route, right? So if you come to line 18 here, you can see line 18 is saying app.use/users for that particular user route. So this is where the user is hiding. So it means anytime you are going to user route, so the URL should be the root directory /users first before any other thing. So that is where we have our users, right? So let's go back to the user route. Where is it? Okay. So now, so this one, it means it was /user/login. Then we do our middleware of validate user. We are familiar with this using Joy. So we use Joy for this, the same thing. Then we can now have this service function again, which is login. This is another service function, login. Then this service function, we are passing a value there. And what is the value we are passing? We are passing a value from the body of the request. The same thing we did here when we are signing up. And we are saying request.body.username, request.body.password, right? Right? So then for this body to be grabbed, for the username to be grabbed from the body of the request, there is a body passer that we use. Who can remind me of that body passer? Let's quickly get that before we move on. Somebody should remind me of that body passer. There's a special body passer we use. We are all familiar with body passer.json, right? But we cannot use body passer.json here. Why? Because this body is a form, is form encoded. Remember, in the login I've showed you in the EJS, it is a form. Are you getting me? What we are having here is a what? Is a form. What we are having here is a form. So we are grabbing this username and password from this form, right? So because it's a form, it's not going to be body passer.json that we are going to be using to grab it. We are going to be using what? Body passer.what? Somebody should just quickly remind us, please. Yes?
URL encoded.
God bless you. Body passer.url encoded. That's what we are doing. So, and you will see that in the app.js. Let me quickly show you. In the app.js, we have body passer.url encoded. You can see the position. Before all this thing down here, we are specifying it here. So the position matters, right? Body passer.url encoded. Then you have this extended force in a what? In a curly brace. Do you get that now? So that's where we are having that. So let's go back to our user.js. So we are grabbing the username and the password to invoke this login. So let's go to this login and see what is there. So that should be in the controller. Where is the controller? Okay, this is the controller. Let's see the login function. You can see the login here. Now we are using the same user model to find. The first thing we are doing with login is that when somebody is logging, you need to go to the database and confirm if the person is existing, right? So we are now saying, okay, let's find where the log info, which is this username is already existing. So if the person is not existing, then we can now say user not found. Because for you to log in, you must have signed up, and we will have you in our user database, right? So that's why we are having this. Then we are having the code 404, because the user is not found, right? Okay. Okay, this one can be a bad request. Anyway, you can change this one to 400, right? You can. I will change this one later. Please, this one should be 400 because it's a bad. 404 is used for when a page is not found, right? So this one should be 400. Which is a bad request. Please, let's correct that. Now, then the next thing is for us to validate the password. So we are going to say await user dot is valid password. Do you understand? To validate the password, because if the user is found, is valid password. Let's note that. So if the user is not found, we have user not found, right? But if the user is found, we can now on the user to confirm that the password is valid. Now, this particular function, as at the time we are saving the password, are you getting me? In our user model, we have this particular function. If you come to our model, come to user model, let me open the user model. In the user model, we have this function there. Look at it, 16. When we are defining our user model, we have user schema, right? User schema here, this schema of user that we have defined, right? We are saying that schema method. Now, we are the one that define this method is valid password, right? Then we are now calling this, we are now assigning the what? This object to what? To the user, this variable user, so that we can now say bcrypt.compare the password. Are you getting me? Which is the user.password. This user.password here, we are now comparing it. This password of the user, we are now comparing it with what? With the hashed password. So this password now, right, is referring to the password here. This user.password now is referring to the what? To the hash password here. So we are comparing the hash password and the what? And the password that is going to be entered when you are trying to when you are trying to log in, right? So we compare it and we return compare. So please let's so now we are now using that function in that controller here to validate that password. It is not valid, then you return email or password is incorrect. Of course, it is the password that is not correct, but you put email there for security purpose, so that if anybody is trying to hack, the person can be confused that is it the email or even the password that is not correct. The person will be sure. Do you understand? That's why we are putting email or password is incorrect, right? So now, after if the password WT.sign, we are all familiar with this before. So this is how we have our token. Then you now have this message. For those that still don't understand this, you can check my previous tutorial. All these have been explained there. So let's move on. So this is the login function. Now, when we call this function, we are saying if response.code is 200, then what do we do next? Let's get line 22. I've explained this one to you in previous tutorial. Then you can now save that in that function, we are returning the token. So we are now saying response.token. We are saving it inside JWT. Times 60 than 1000, that is 1 hour, right? To happen next, then you now redirect to your dashboard. Because if the person has been successfully logging, then the person should be directed to the work, right? So then when you have redirect, for this to be rendered, we are going to write a get request. We are going to have a get request for this dashboard. I'm going to show you in the app.js, right? But if the response.code is 404, I just mentioned that you change this one to 400, right? So if the response code is 404 or 400, then you can now redirect to user not found, right? User not found, because it means you have not what? You have not logged in. Now, this is another page, user not found, right? This is another page. So then else, if there is any other thing, then you can now redirect to invalid information, which is username or password is incorrect, right? Because if you look at here, we are having this login function. The responses we are having there are these three responses: 200, 404. Let me show you again. Can you see? We have 404, we have 422. Can you see now? That else statement is going to catch this 422 code, because we have 404, we have 422. What do we have again? And then we have 200. Can you see? For 404, I wrote a condition for 200. Then I now say else. That else is now going to grab 422, because that's the only thing that we have left. You don't need to start writing if response.code is 422 again. So we have 200, we have 404, then the else now is going to stand for what? For the 422, and that will be what? Username or password is incorrect. You can see I put the comment here. Do you understand? So this one is user does not exist. So you can have a page to be rendered for that. So for each of these errors, I have a page that I render for each of them. So this is the way you should write it, right? Is this part clear? Please let me get a response.
Yes, clear.
Oh, okay, that's very good. It's very clear. Good. So if it is not clear, please talk. Now we can now redirect and move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move out to our dashboard. Now, to render this dashboard, what happened? Let's go and see the get request to the dashboard and see what happened. Dashboard. This is where you have a lot of logic to render that dashboard. Now, let's go there. Get dashboard. Now, see it. App.get/dashboard. You can see what happened. This is where you have a lot of things happening. Is concerned, it happens here, this line 33 to 37. Are we ready? Can I move on? Because I'm going to be explaining a lot of logic here. Are we ready?
Yes, go ahead. Do.
Anybody can have access to slash dashboard. The person must be what? Must be ensured login. There must be authentication. Not any authentication there, because everybody should have access to the sign up and the login page. You can see when we get the sign up and the login, there is no any authentication there. That's the way it should be. But when somebody is trying to access that dashboard, the person must be authenticated. And the authentication we are doing here is to ensure that the person log in. So that's why we're saying auth. Person log in, what happened next? Now, before I explain what happened next, let's go to this ensure login first. See what is happening there. In this is the authentication folder. Let's go to auth.js. Now, see it here. In this auth.js, we have a function. What the first thing we do is to grab the token in the cookie. Remember, we save the token inside what? Inside the cookie, right? Rest.cookies, and we put it inside the JWT. So we are now requesting it here. This is where we are going to use it. Let me split this. So I will show you in the user login. Yes, look at it here. Let me put it side by side. Look at here, line 22 here. We are saying in the user route, we are saying, okay, if response.code is 200, that means if the person is able to log in successfully, right? Then we should have the JWT, the token that we generated, we should save it in. We are the ones specifying this variable JWT to be inside cookie, and inside this JWT we now have token inside it. So now we have token inside JWT and JWT is inside cookie. So we are now calling it here, saying request.cookies.jwt. Please remember it is plural, cookies. S. If you go to your developer tools, you will see that it's cookies plural. Please don't let this give you a box. This one is plural. But by the time you are saving it, it is what? It is a function here. So the function is not plural, it is just cookie because it's a function, right? But what you have when it is being saved, it is being saved inside what? Cookies, which is a plural. Please get that so that you don't begin to have bug when you are writing that. So rec.cookies.jwt, you have your token there. Then we check if not token, that is, if nothing is grabbed, right? Then the person should not be redirected to /login. Can you see redirect again? You redirect. Anytime you're having any logic that if something, then the next thing should be redirected. You don't render immediately, you redirect. When you now redirect, you have a get operation that you have written to render that particular URL that you are redirecting to, which I have showed you, right? So you redirect to /login, which is root/login, right? Good. But if the token is there, then what happened? Then you can now say once decoded, you decode it. Please see what happened here. There's something important that we did here after decoding it. We are familiar with this JWT.verify, how we do the decoding. You decode the token, then you have your what? Your JWT_secret, which is your secret key. We all know that. Then immediately you are decoding. See line, because when somebody is trying to log in, there must be a JWT, a token rather, that will be generated, right? That token has to be saved somewhere. It has to be saved somewhere. And we are now saving it inside what? A storage called locus, right? Then we are now saying, okay, when you want to store it into local, let it be inside user. So user response, that's where we are having our decoded. We are storing it there. Why are we doing this? Is because we want to have access to the what? To the token when the person is trying to access the dashboard. When you are accessing the dashboard, you must provide a what? A token. And that token, for you to get it, you are getting it through a login process. So it is when you log in that you can have a token, right? And through that login process, we are saving your token for you inside the rest.locals.user so that you can have access to dashboard. So which through the login process, then it will not be possible to access the dashboard. Do you get the logic? If you are coming to dashboard and you are not logging in, you can see where we are coming from is that where we are coming from. Let me see it so that let me show you again in the dashboard app.js. Please, I need to explain this thing again. Not everybody will just understand at a go like that. Don't let us rush. You can see where is it? Where is the dashboard? Oh, that one is in the dashboard. Okay, yes, it's here now. App.get dashboard. Where is it? Look at it. Line 33 here. Can you see? When you are trying to access the dashboard, so it is when you log in that you can now what? You can now have a token. If somebody did not log in, you cannot even have a token. So if somebody did not log in, then this ensure login is going to fail. Because in this ensure login, we are demanding for a token. In line 6 here, we are demanding for a token. So if you don't log in, this ensure login is going to fail. It's going to fail. And when it fail, see what happened here. You will be redirected to what? To login. Please, do we get that? Do we get that logic? You will be redirected to login when it fails. When you are trying to log in, when you are trying to access the dashboard, and we try to confirm if you are logging and you are not logging, then it's going to fail because login is checking your token. Okay, if it doesn't fail and you are able to log in successfully, then we are now going to save that particular person that is logging in. We are going to save that person in response.locals.user. We are saving this person here. There's a reason why we are saving this, because we are going to need it somewhere, which I'm going to show you. You will see the importance of this line 11 now when I get there. So the reason why we are doing that is that we want to have access to the user that is logging in, the user information. Remember, what we have in this decoded is what? We are having the username and we are having the what? And we are having the what? The ID of that user. Do you remember? What we are having there is the username and the what? And the ID. Please note that. So rest.local.user now contain username and the what? And the ID. Note that. So if the person then next means that the person is successful, then we can now move to the next thing. So what happened next? What happened next? So what happened next is this. Let me do this. App.js. Let me open app.js here and close this one. Okay, see, this is what happened next. If the person is logging, then we can now what? We can now have this the task model. Hey, please look at this. You want to access the dashboard. We have confirmed that you are logging and we want to access the dashboard. Okay, what happened next? We are now going to make a request to the what? To the task model and find all what we have in the task model, because that is what we want to display. Do you understand? That's what we want to display in the dashboard. We want to display all the tasks. Now, when you are now displaying the task you want to find, you are going to use, you are going to find where user ID is equivalent to res.locals.user.id. Can you see the function, the importance of the, we are trying to grab only the task of that particular user, because we are going to have so many tasks in that database. So what we are trying to do here is to find the task of that user alone. Am I communicating? Am I talking to someone here? Please, please, let's say some, let's say something. There is a logic
Yes,
here.
yes.
Please explain what I'm trying to say. Please, please. I want, or should I come again? Okay, let me explain it again. Now, when somebody is trying to access the dashboard, we confirm that the person is logging. And as at the time the person is logging, we have been able to grab the information of that person and we store it inside response.locals.user, right? Now, we are now saying, okay, you are logging and we want to display your task. We are now using this task model. Remember task model now? Let me show you task model. We are familiar with how to create model. Let me just quickly show you. This is the, what we have in that model is what? Is task name, the state, and the user ID. Please let's note that. We have, yes, I need to explain this, please. It's very important. We have in the task model, look at it. We have tasks of the task and we have the user ID, because the user ID is going to be a foreign key here, right? And this is how you define your foreign key in Mongo, when you are using Mongoose. Are you getting me? You are going to have an array and an object inside it, right? Then you specify the type. And what is the type? The type is schema.types.object.id. Do you understand? Because you are going to have this user ID is an ID of a particular object, which is the object, which is the user object, right? So you are now saying .type.object ID, and which object is it referencing? You now specify that this object, this ID is a is being referenced by what? By users, which is a table. You know, this is the name of the table, users. It's going to be plural. Don't use singular. Is a reference to what? To a table users, right? So that's how you specify. Please note this syntax and master it. So now that means anytime a task is being created, you are going to grab the user ID. I'm going to show you how we create task. I'm going to show you that later. Just hold on. Now, when we get to create task, you will see how we grab the user ID here. I will show you that when we get to create task. Now, task name, state, user ID. Then here in this state, please note here, we are saying the value can be pending. Value for the state. So please, I think this is clear, right? App.js, or where are we coming from? I think is yes, app.js, yes, app.js. Now, good. Here we are now saying we want to find where the user ID of this task model. Can you see? Can you now see that we have user ID in task model, which I just showed you? We are saying where the user dot what? User.id. So we are checking it against it, so that the task that is going to be rendered, that is going to be displayed, are going to be the task of that user alone, not the task of another user, because all the tasks are in one particular. So that is that. So
Sorry.
this place will get clearer when I explain how task is even being created in the first place. Do you understand? How task is even being created in the first place, which I'm still going to explain. Do you understand? So I want to get question here, because this place is logical. Can I have a question? Somebody want to ask question?
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
So I was just thinking, like this task now, does it mean in your database you just like a lot of tasks? For example, if I create my own account in your
Yes.
app, and you create your own account in your app, and let me say Obina creates his own
Oh,
account in your app. This
okay.
task now, does it mean when I create a task, it
Mm.
just goes to your database like that, and you create your own, and everything is just inside
E-
one task
Is
collection?
exactly. As we are creating task, each of us, as we are creating task, it is going to the same table, the same collection. All the tasks are going to the same collection. Do you understand? That is the design.
Okay.
Everybody task is going to the same collection. You know what I'm going to do now? Let me explain the create task so that you can see. Then we will now come back to this line 34. I think that will help. That will make it clearer. Can we do that now? Okay. So let's go to create task. Let's see what happens when we are creating task. Yeah, this is it. Get. Okay, this is just a get to create task. Let's go to the task route. Yeah, that should be in the task route. Task. Where is task? Hold on. This is the model. Okay, this is the task. Good. Let me close all this one. So you can see this is the task folder here. Now, if you open this task folder here, let's go to the task route. Now, this is the task route. So now, what is happening here is that when you, so now when you're saying task router dot post, then we have slash create. What happened? You are going to have this function create task, right? And when you are creating a task, is going to be a service function too. And what are we doing? Let's go to that function and see what happened. Create task. Let's go come back to the controller. Okay, now see where task is being created. Let's see what happened there. Now we are when you are creating task, the form we make is requesting for your task name, uh, only task name. Yes. Okay, let me do this. Let me do this. Hold on. Okay. Can you remember when I started? I show you how task is being created. Okay, let me just open it so that it will be clear. Let me log in. Let me log in so that you will see. Okay. So, but when I log in, it will be clear. One, two, three. Okay, sorry, this is not my password. My password is what? Okay, okay. Let me log in. Okay, these are my own tasks. In fact, I've started using these are the tasks I have for today, which I've been able to do. I can click on them and mark them completed. You understand? Okay, completed, completed. Okay, then this is the last task for today, which is take a tutorial. I've not completed that. Okay, now if you want to create task now and you come here and say create task, Can you see what I am adding on this form? Do you understand? And here, the variable that is inside this input, what I have in the label of this input is just as states, what do you call, task name. Task name is what I have here as the label for this particular input, task name. Are you getting me? In that create task.ejs, what I have there is what is task name. So, which means that here, let's go back. Let me show you in the EJS too, so that we can get it clear. Now, if you open this EJS now, let's go to the form on the create task. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, this is the form here. 49. Watch line 44 to line 49. You can see the form. What we have in this form, slash task create, in the label, see the label. What I have is just task name. Can you see the input? The input is also in task name. So I don't have any other inputs here. Do you understand? Now, if you now come to your create task, when you are creating the task, you are creating it on this URL slash task slash create. Then the method is posts, right? Now, if you now come there now, let's go there to that controller. See, I am now asking these creators, I'm specifying 3 arguments here now instead of only task name. I'm specifying state and user ID. Why? Is because by default, that is why. Do you understand? And the user ID is going to be grabbed from res.locals.user. Need for my user is only the task name. I only need you to enter your task name. The state and the user ID, I know I'm going to grab it myself. The state, I'm going to set it to pending. And the user ID, I am going to grab it from your login details. By the time you are logging in, I have already saved your user ID inside what? res.locals.user dot what? User ID. Sorry, when yes, exactly. I've already saved it there. So that's where I'm going to get this value from. So what I need from you is only your task name. So now when you pass we render 422, not we can't process. Then if you now have it, then we can now create in line 13 with this task info, right? We can create, this is the task info here. Then we can now what? Create it. Created. Then we have code 200, we have the task. Now, let's go back to this task user now. Let's see what's happened. Now, you can see the way I now invoke that service function, create task. See what I did here. You can see the task name. I grabbed it from that form, request.body.task name. Yes, that is well understood. Then what happened to the state? You can see I set the state to pending by default. So that is why when you try to access your data, when you create a task, it is going to come with pending by default. Do you get that now? How that is achieved? That's the logic. So then the user ID, you can see I'm grabbing it from res.locals.user.id. Remember, what we save in that res.locals.user is the ID of the user and the user. So we are now grabbing it here so that we can assign it as the user ID for the task. Do you understand that? So that is what we pass into the create task. Any question there? I want to be very sure. Hello?
Hi, Sulaimon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
So, I understand the part of when creating tax and grabbing the state and the tax name. But the delete function, how did you come about that?
Okay, the delete. Oh, we are coming there. We are coming there.
Okay, okay.
We are coming there. We have not gotten to delete. Hold on.
I mean the delete
So
button
let's
from
let so we have
that's
seen
on
how the
the
task is
front
being
end part.
created now. So then if response.code is what is 200, that means we can now redirect to dashboard. You can see we can now redirect to dashboard. So that is if the task has been created. So that's why you see me that after creating task, are you getting me? We are going to be redirected to the what? To the dashboard for you to see the task that you have created. Do you understand? That's what we are having here. Then else, that is if this create task is not successful, then you cannot be redirected to a page which I call invalid information. Do you understand? Invalid information. Invalid information if the task is not created successfully. Do you understand? So that is how we achieve that. Now, that's how the task is being created. Now, let's go back to this, how we now render the dashboard. That's where we are coming from before in the app.js. App.js. We will get there now. We are gradually coming to the main thing now. So now when you are redirected to dashboard, whether either as at the time you are logging in or as at the point of creating your task, you can see we are having two situations now where we are redirected to dashboard. We were redirected to dashboard when we log in, right? And we were redirected to dashboard when we created task. So I've explained the login process and I've explained the create task process. Now, when you are now redirected to dashboard, what happened? What happened is that we are going to find, you can see this is find. This one is finding everything. This one is going to what? Is going to the task collection in your database to bring out everything that you have there. And when it is going there, remember, I have created task. You have created task. Everybody has created task. Which task is it going to render? It is going to display only your own task. Only your own task. And this is the logic to that. It's going to find where user ID. We have user ID inside task model, right? It's going to find where that user ID is the same thing as the user ID of the person that is logging in. It is when you log in that you have your ID inside res.local.user. So it will now match the ID of the user that has logged in with the user ID of the user with this user ID of that person in the task collection. So it will not just like go and catch every task that is there. It is going to use the user ID to select the task that is going to catch, that is going to find. I Because as at the time everybody is creating task, there's a user ID for everybody. There's a user ID that is being grabbed, right? I've explained that. But when it is now trying to find, it is going to find only your own what? Your own task. Let me demonstrate that for you to see. Let me demonstrate that.
Sorry, one question. Sorry. So when it finds like your personal task,
Let me demonstrate that for you to see. I'm going to use another browser now. Hello?
can, can
Somebody
you
saying something.
so like when you
I
do
can
the
hear you.
find, it returns an array, right? An array of
Hello?
all your tasks.
You said? Oh, network. You are going off.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Hello?
me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, so I was saying, like, after doing the dot find and like the task model dot find, it
Yes.
returns the like an array of all your tasks.
Of all your own tasks, exactly. Of all your own tasks, it's going to select it using your own user ID, so that it will not just go and bring all the tasks that we have in the database. You know, my own task is there, your own task is there, you know, Chibuke task is there. So it will not just go and bring all the, because the user ID is a foreign key inside that task collection. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is what I'm happy you get it now. Let me open another browser now and use it to check it for you. Let me see. Browser, let me use Chrome. Okay. Okay, you can see. I'm using Chrome now. Let me log in. Let me sign up. Okay, Chibuke is signed up already. Let me log in with Chibuke. Chibuke. I'm sure this is from. Okay, log in. Okay, good. So this was a task that we created for Chibuke the other time we logged in. So here is bringing out only Chibuke's task. And for me, in my own browser here, okay, let me just go back for you to see my own task. My own task differs. So it is going to database to bring out each of us data, is each of us what task. See my own task differs, that is displayed here, and see Chibuke's task here. Your own task based on your own user ID. That's what we are trying to do here. That's the logic. So you can see, where is it? Where is that logic? Say, hey, you can see here at line 34. We are saying, okay, when you are finding, use check the ID of the user ID. You know, we have this user ID as foreign key in the task model. We say check the user ID and find only the task where it was. The user ID that we already stored in the res.locals. And that is the person that is actually using the application at present as at that time. Remember, when the person logged in, we already saved this in the res.locals. So when it is now trying to particular person, is it clear now? Is it clear?
Yes.
Hello? 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 Are you guys hearing me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. You want to say something?
No, like, yes, it's clear.
It's clear now. That's good. That's good. So once that is checked, it will now render everything that we have there. Then you have your render that that now. And you can have all these in your nav, the very important. Now, when the dashboard is to be rendered, we need to catch the user, which is the user that we save inside that res.locals logic for it inside that .ejs. That's why we are catching it here. Info here that we find, those information that is being found, we need to catch it because we are going to display it. That's why we are catching it here. Then we are catching the dates, and this is what is going to be displayed, new date, which is the current date. Do you understand? So now, and this task info and this navs, what do we do with it? Now let's go and check our dashboard.ejs and see what we did with it. Dashboard.ejs. Now, dashboard.ejs, if you look at it here, let's go back. Yeah, look at it here in line 42. Line 42 is saying if user, that is if we have, this is the first thing, this is the first statement that you that if user, okay, let me see, this is where I grab the date. Look at line 40, the date is grabbed, it just display that date. Okay, having done that, we can now say if user, if there is a user, right? If a user, it means if we have a user that's actually logged in. User is found logged in that is trying to access the dashboard. If we actually have a user, then we can welcome that user by saying user.username. Can you see how we grab the name? That was how we grabbed this name here. That's why it's showing Sulaiman here. From my details, the details from the res.locals that we save in user is now grabbing it. We save the username and the ID inside that res.locals.user. So through that user now, we are now grabbing the username. And if you check Chibuke here, that is logging in at the same time with me, we are both logged in now. It's showing Chibuke for Chibuke and it's showing Sulaiman for Sulaiman. Do you understand now? So that is that. So now, username, you grab it here, then you put your statement depending on the way you want it. All these are clear. Then what happened after the user has been grabbed? Hold on. What happened next? See what happened next at line, let me see, at line 60. See at line 60. I'm not saying that if there is user at line 60, I'm not saying task infos dot for each. Now I want to display the tasks now that has been found. We use a find to get all the tasks, and they are stored in these task infos, right? I'm not saying task info dot for each of these task info, right? Then what happened? There is a condition here. Please note this. I'm not saying, hey, oh my God, let me relax a little before I explain this thing. There is a tricky information here because this is where I write the logic for that pending and complete. Hello, can you all hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, please let's listen
Sure.
carefully.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes. There is a tricky, if statement here. Let's look at it very well. Here, in this my application, if I click complete, okay, let me explain like this. Presently, as you have it here in the database, what we have in the state is completed here for this task, for this one and for this one. But for the take a tutorial, I'm having pending there in the database. So that when I am rendering this page, I have to check that is the state completed or the state is pending. I have to check. Why? Because what I am going to render is going to vary. The design is going to vary because you can see the pending is showing red and the completed is showing green. That is why I am checking. I need to check if it is pending. I want to render it red. If it is completed, I want to render it green. That is why I am making that check here. Can you see? It's a lot of logic that, okay, if dot for each of them that you want to show me, help me check if the state is pending. Okay, if the state is pending, is what I want you to show for me. I want you to have this particular row. Remember the row, the head, the th is constant. Can you see what to do? State, then I have this blank. This one is button. Do you understand? Okay. So I am leaving that one blank. That's the head. But what should be in the data, in each of the datas? So I'm not saying, okay, task info dot task name. Then the next one is this one that we have tricky now, which is the states. Now, in this state now, line 65 to line 83. Look at it very well. Let me bring it up. Line 65 to line 83. You can see CD 83. Look at it. I have a form inside it. Look at the form, line 66 and 82. Because it's going to be, you are going to be making requests. You know, when I click it, there is a request. And that form is making a put request, which is an edit. To be a put request for you to be able to what? To edit the completed to state. Am I communicating? So, but before I explain this, I'm saying that, okay, here I have it inside the button. Look at this button. Okay. Okay, see the inputs here. The inputs. I'm saying, okay, this data now, I'm giving it, I do all this one for the CSS design, the name is there, yes, then the value is completed here. See, the value is completed here. I'm giving it a value completed here. Are you there? So you can see I have here that if the task info dot state is pending, I'm saying if task info dot state is pending, then I'm not giving it a value completed. I'm giving it a value of completed when the state is pending. I am not giving it a completed. Why? Because when I am making a put request, I want it to be changed to completed. I hope we get this. Oh, it's very tricky. It's very tricky. Let me explain again. I am saying when this particular state, look at states. Let me come back. This states, right? Okay, presently is showing completed. Abi? Okay, good. So which means that when I'm clicking on this button now, I want to make a put request that we change it to what? To pending, right? But here I am having pending. So when I'm clicking pending here, I want to make a put request that will change it to completed, right? So if you are making a put request that want to change it to completed, then you must pass a value completed to it internally, because a value must be there. You, of course, you are not going. No, they are not writing it. You are setting the value yourself to completed internally. Are you getting that logic? So we are setting the value internally to be completed while it is showing pending. We are now setting completed internally so that when you click, you can now make a put request that will now pick that value completed and render it and edit it in the database. That's what we are trying to do here. That, okay, while the task info.state is completed, okay, set the value to completed. Do you understand? Set the value to completed. And remember, by default, it is already showing pending already. But you are now saying, okay, set value to completed here. Then, of course, it will render task info.state, which is the state, the pending state that is by default that is there. It's going to render this one. Then this is where I set the style to be red, right? To be brown, rather. You can see. So look at the style here. This is an inline CSS that I put here. That style should be equal to background and the background should be red. Do you understand? So that is how that is being. Next column, which is delete. But before I go to that delete, how do I explain this? To completed. I will come back to that. I will come to how we now write this request. We are putting the URL here, which means that when this button is being clicked, then this is going to be handled, right? And very important. Hey, oh my God. I hope we are going to get this thing. There's a lot of tricky information here. Look at this URL here. I put in this URL, I have task info.id here. Why? Why do I have it? Because the ID of the task do you remember that when we want to make a put request, we are going to put ID as part parameter there? Do you remember? Hello? Can somebody just answer me? That when we want to make a put request, we always put ID as part parameter there.
Yes, sure.
Good. Now, how do you grab that ID? You will grab it from the task info. We are in this page now. We are trying to we find all the tasks, and we already specify the task info to be grabbed in this particular HTML page. And through that task info, we are now assigning the ID to the URL now by calling on taskinfo.id. I hope we get that. So that by the time you click on your button now to make that particular put request, then of course it will be successful because you already have task, you have the update, and you have the ID. Let me show you immediately so that you won't be confused where we are making that particular request to update the what? To update this information that is pending, that has been cached here at line 80. How we are now changing it to completed. Now here, when we click on this button here now, we are making a put request that we change the pending that has been grabbed here to what? To this value, completed. I hope we all remember that when we are making a push request, of course, in the body of that request, you must put a value there now. Abi, remember, that value internally to be completed in the inputs. Remember now, in your HTML, you can always set value in the inputs. Do you remember that? Hello? Hello, do you remember that?
I did not get that. Sorry, what did you say?
I said in your input, our HTML that we have learned, for your input, you can set a value for it. And that's what we are setting here, value to be completed. Do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So whenever this button is being clicked and we are making a push request, this completed is going to be grabbed, and it will now be the one it will now update this pending now. It will now change it to completed. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Exactly. That's very good. So now we are all familiar with the code, but let me our task update. Let me go to task route. So task route, you will see it there. Where is the task route? Yeah, is it here? You can see line 21. Is it line 21? Line 20. Yeah, look at it. This is where we are making the put request. You can see we have /task/update/the ID. Then we now have controller.update state, which is the function that we are familiar with that used to do the updates, right? But there's something strange here in line 20. But there's something strange in that line 20. Can somebody show me? Can somebody just tell me there's something strange in that line 20?
Can you hear me?
What we are trying to do in line 20 is what? We are making an update, Abby. But there's something strange there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I don't know if that's the answer, but I just want to ask this question. On your form method, you put it was put, and on the button you are like form method.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello? Okay, I can hear you now.
I said on the form, the method is put, but on the button,
It's going back and forth.
I think
You
he was
said,
saying
come
that
again.
on the form method, the method was put. Well, yeah, it's post or something like that. I think that's what he
Can you
was
hear me?
saying. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, on the form method, yes.
Okay.
I can hear you
On
now.
the form method, it was put.
Yes.
But on the button, you wrote something like form method post.
I put post
Yes.
here, Abby. Here, right? That's very good. That's the strange thing I just want to point out. Now, do you know that the reason is that by convention, the designer of this language, what we have in the documentation is that for forms, that form. Where is that form, sir? The dashboard, Abi. Okay, dashboard. Let me go back to that form. Now look at it. I'm saying method put, Abi. This can never work. I am only putting it there.
Can you mute?
Diligwe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
See this put method that I hear, it is useless because it is not allowed. I only put it there so that I can understand my code. This put is not allowed in a form. That's what I want us to get there. Put is not allowed in a form. You can only have get and post. What it means is that what they are telling us in the documentation is that in a form, or you are making a delete request in a form, just the same thing here at line 86. It is a post you are going to be actually writing to make that request. You are going to be using post to make that request. This put, I am only writing it there just for me to understand my code, but it is useless. You can put post here and it will still work. Am I communicating? So put a form, you can only use it in your JSON object. When the body is a JSON, that's when you can use put and delete and it will work. But in form encoding, But what will actually make it to be a put is the function you are writing, which is the function here. Where is that function? Task. Look at it. This function, update states.
Yeah.
This is what will make it to actually do the put and the delete that you needed. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes.
Be having error, it will not work. It will not even get there at all. It will not get there. Are you getting me? So I want to put post there too. But I only left it as put and delete there so that I can understand what is happening in my code. So that I won't be confused. That's why I left put and delete there. Do you understand? But here, I have no choice than to put post here because I'm carrying out the action here. So if I go and put delete here, put here, or patch, or whatsoever, or delete, it will not work. So it is post that we use in handling the what? The updates. When what you are grabbing is from what? Is form encoded. Is that clear now?
Okay, so can you hear me?
So I can hear you.
So, like, irrespective of the method on the form,
Hello?
you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so I was saying, irrespective of the method on the form, when you click on the button, what carries? Is it that, like, when you click on the button, it goes as post, or you have to like write that form method post on the button?
Okay. You know when you click the button, it's going to look for this line 20. Do you understand that?
Yes, I
When
get it.
it's going to look for line 20, and when it get to line 20, yeah, it's going to see this function update states, right? And it's going to see this post, right?
Yes.
Right? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
When it comes to line 20, it's going to see post, right? What matters, what you specify in that your method in the form does not matter. I just told you it doesn't matter. You can put post there, you can put there. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to line 20, it's going to see posts, right? And if you feel like, okay, what am I doing with this post? Then it will come to update and do this.
Okay.
It is what is inside here that is going to carry out, regardless of whether it is you put there or you put post there. It is what is in this update state that is going to carry out. And when you come to this task
Can you hear me?
controller of, I can hear you.
Okay, like I get the line 20 logic and the fact that it does not matter whether it's post, it's just your function that does
Yes.
the work.
That does the
my
work, yes.
question is that, like, I understand this router part. My question is on the form now. So
Okay.
all form is a post request. Is that what you're saying?
Get and post only.
Okay, get. So that's my point now. So
Yes.
since you
Only
did
get and post.
method on the form
and
as
post.
put,
Yes. You cannot put,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yes. So just get and post. But in your case now, you used put as the method, and irrespective of whatever method
Hello?
you use. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so irrespective of whatever method you use, you just get and post. But in your case
Exactly.
now, you now use put. Do you still have to? It's a question. Do you still have to like add that form? Can you go to the
Okay,
EJS?
let me
Let me
go
show
to the
you.
form. I get what you are saying. Okay, yes.
So do you still have to on line 76? Do you still have to like mention that form method equal to post to know, for the backend to know that this is a post method, not a get method?
Okay, yes. I want to explain this. Yes. Exactly.
That's my question.
Exactly. Good. I get your question now. That's very good. I get your question. You see, if I don't put this form method post there will be issue. This one is overwriting this one. That's the explanation now. Hello?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. So, but I left this one
Okay.
there so I can understand
Sorry.
what is happening. Somebody,
Yes,
do you
yes,
get
yes.
that?
I'm asking a question. So now, what you
Yes.
mean is that whatever method you put in the form action, like in the form tag, does not really matter. Does not affect anything.
Exactly. Whatever you put here does not affect. But mind you, I
Okay.
just mentioned now that form can only take get and posts. Do you
Okay.
understand? So
Yes, yes.
ordinarily, putting the put I put here, there should be an issue with it. Are you getting
Okay.
it? There should be an issue. But what is overwriting this one now is the
Is that
form
form
method that
method?
I put here.
Okay.
Exactly. Do you get that now?
But if I remove the method equals to, if I just remove like the method equals to put, will it still work?
If you just put post here, Abby,
Like no, if I remove the method, like if I remove the whole statement, method is equals to put.
put
It will
post
still
here.
work, I guess.
It will, okay, if you just remove all this one, Abby, it will
Yes,
still
yes,
work
yes.
now, of course, of course.
Okay, okay.
This form method we do the work for you. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Thank you.
So that is it.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that is clear, right? So okay, I think that is clear. So let's move on. Okay, let me see. Where do we go? The task.route, I think I've explained this one, update state. Then if you check that update state now, look at it. This is it here. You can see this is where we're actually writing it. We are familiar with this of that particular task. Then it will now confirm that it will now grab the updates. You know what we have in that update is completed. And that update will be completed. Remember, we set it to be completed. It came by default with pending, but we set it to be. So what is going to be grabbed here for this? So now carry out the updates, right? And once the update has been done, see what we did. We redirect to dashboard. We redirect to dashboard. So which means that when you click on that button and all these things happen, you change it to completed, then you should be taken back to your dashboard. So that's why when I click on it and it changes, when I click on pending now, let me click on pending now. Pending. See, when it takes to completed, it take me back to my dashboard. It doesn't leave that dashboard. Do you understand? So that is the
Okay,
logic.
let's just try something else I just thought of. Like, instead of redirecting back to dashboard, can't
Yes.
you just render the dashboard?
Okay, because
Like
we are on the
render.
dashboard already. Yes, that's very good. That's very
Yes,
good.
we're already on the dashboard.
We are already on the dashboard. Of course, we can render. That's very correct. We can render. So the URL is still the same, right? That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. You are very correct. We can do that. We can do that.
You can try it out to let me be sure that it's correct.
No. Understanding the language, it will definitely work. It will definitely. Okay, you want me to do that? Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. It will definitely work. See, when you understand the language, you can do so many things. You can do so many things. It's all about understanding. You will remove this slash. It will just be render dashboard. Okay. Yes, connected. Let's do that now. So let's click on completed. Now let's say, because in that my dashboard, I'm still explaining. You know, we first of all check when it is pending. Then we now change to completed, and we have a check too that when it is completed, it should change it back to pending. So the reason why I did that is that you have not actually completed, like I did now. This tutorial now, I have not completed it. So I need to click it back and change it to pending because I'm still doing it. So let me click it. Oh, something break. What happened? Oh, is it because of the render?
I think it's because of the render.
Okay, navs is not defined. Why is navs not defined? Okay, you know what I'm going to do now? We are going to check back. I'm going to do something now. Let me restart and see what is happening there. To copy. Let me go back. I'm going to log out. Let me log out and log in again and see what is happening and be very sure that everything is working fine. RAS. Pending. You can see. Okay, you know what happened? When it changed it back to pending, it has actually gone to the database. It has actually changed it to pending, but to render the page is where the problem comes. Okay, why is it not rendering? Let me check again now. Let's say I want to make it completed. So, really great.
Yeah.
We can't use render there. It's having problem. Or
Okay.
wait, why? We are supposed to be able to render now. Let me see why. We should be able to render or because you are logged in already. You know, you are logged in already. And once you are logged in already, let me see. When you are rendering, let me see dot
Okay, I
get
think
that.
I see what is going on. So
Let me
can you
see
hear me?
get that. Okay, hold
So
on.
I think it should be redirect because it will still have to go back to the database to get the new state.
Yeah.
Okay, you still have to go to the database to get the new state.
But if you just render it, it will skip this route. It will skip this routing
Oh,
stuff and go straight back to
that's
the
true. That's true.
EJS. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, 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 yeah.
redirect.
Of course, you get it. So it should be redirect. You have to redirect. So anyway, the best thing is that let's always redirect, please. Whenever we are in a particular function, are you getting me? And we want to get a particular page. Let's always make it redirect so that we don't run into issue. Let's make it a principle. Do you understand? We redirect to page, then we now write a function to get that page somewhere else. Do you understand? Yeah, let's always write it like that so that we won't be having issue. So okay, so this is the way it's supposed to be. Okay, where do we stop? So this is how the update is being done. Now let's go to delete. Delete, or before I go to that delete, let me go back to that dashboard.egs. Let me finish up with that particular EGS. So now we're able to grab the ID here. Now we have a condition here that if task info.state is pending, that's when we are having this. Then we are going to have else somewhere here. Else. Can you see else? 103. That is else. That is as at the time it has changed from pending to completed. That's the meaning of this else now. Then you grab the task name as well. Then you can now have this again. Can you see the value here? The value has been changed to pending here because it means when it is completed, when I click this particular form now, then I want to update it back to pending. Do you get it now? So that's why the value is now pending here. So the same thing you write, this is what we call conditional rendering. This is what we call conditional rendering. There is a background voice. Somebody should please mute. The person should mute the voice. Okay, good. So this conditional rendering now, we are saying, okay, if it is pending, okay, you should render what is up. But if it is now completed, that is this else. That is, if the state is completed, then this is what should be rendered when the button is being clicked. You can set the value to pending, then when you click it, it makes an update on this. You can see it is still the same action. That's update to that particular ID, the form method is post, the same thing we did with that. So that is exactly what we have done. So now let me quickly explain the delete. I think the update is clear now, right? So for the delete, it is still the same ID, it is still saying that task that you want to delete. So you need to grab the ID, right? Here, the URL I am using here is just /task/delete. Do you understand? /task.delete. So this one you can customize it the way you want, but what we need is that there must be a delete. There must be an ID so that we can actually know the ID of the task that we want to delete. So that's why we are having here. We grab the ID, then we have this method of delete. Then if you come to form,
Yeah,
do you
cool.
understand now? So the form method is post. Can you see now that you cannot use what? You can only, so that is that. So the form method is post, and when we now get to the delete, now let's go to the delete now and see what happened there in the task route. Let's go back to the task route and see what happened. See the task route here. You can see it's saying delete task, and we pass that ID. Can you see this is task? It can cause a lot of issue. Whenever you are specifying a URL in a form, make sure that that is what you are having here, because the form is going to look for that URL. Will be issue. Make sure it always match. When we specify the URL for update, this was what we specified, and that's what we are having here. When we specify the URL for delete, this was what we have, and that's what we have here. Remember, the task is in the app.js. That task is in app.js. So /ID, then you can now delete. And when you come to delete, you can see the function is here. See the delete task function. So this is what carry out the deleting. We are all familiar with the .id. We grab the ID there, then we say task model of find by ID and remove. This is what we use. Find by ID and remove in Mongoose. Then you can now remove by ID. Then you can now redirect to dashboard. Immediately after you delete, you redirect to dashboard, right? So that's why if I come here now, do you understand? Oh, something broke again. What happened? What did we did? Okay. Okay. So when you come here now and you delete, right? If I delete this one that is completed now, what happened? Can you see? It deletes and render the page back. Do you understand? It's redirect back to the page. When I delete again, you can see it go back to the page, right? If I delete now, it go back to the page. Can you see? It remain only take a tutorial. So when I finish with this task now, then I can now delete this as well. So that is how it works, right? That's how it works. What again? So I think at this point now we have explained all the logic. So don't forget where the whole magic started was from this getting of dashboard, because that's the only protected route that we have here, right? So when we start getting the dashboard, this is where everything starts. Please note this line 33 to 37. This is where we are trying to protect this route by this ensure login. Then through this process, we're able to save the user information in the request.locus, .user. You can remember what is inside this ensure login, don't forget. Then that's why we have access to it here. So then what we want to do is that when the person is confirmed login, we want to render all the task by using task model.find, right? We want to display all the task. So by using task model.find, and when it is finding it, it should find only the task that has the user ID that we store in the local storage. Do you understand? That is the only one we want. So that it will not just go and display Diligwe task to Sulaiman, or go and display Sulaiman task to Diligwe. Do you understand? He logs in with his own username and password, right? He logs in with his username and password. Then the user ID was creating task. And after logging in, when he was creating task, we were able to grab the user ID. You remember when we created that task, we grabbed the user ID and we save it inside that task. Do you understand? We save it inside that task. Don't forget. I think that is where you can see this is it here. When we are trying to, okay, this is get, create task. Where is it? No, this is just a get. When we're creating task, let me go back there. When we're creating task here, task, you can see when we're making the post request to task, when he was creating his task, right? We were able to, look at it here. We save the ID when he logged in. When he logged in, we save the ID inside res.locus. We now assign that ID to the user ID feed. The user ID feed in the task. This user ID is a what? Is a foreign key in the task. So we assign that ID of the user to this user ID. So with that, now we can now use that user ID to always find the task that we want displayed. So that is what we did. That's what we did. So we need to draw the curtain at this level. So can we, if there is question, we can ask question at this stage. And don't forget, every other validation whatsoever, everything, don't forget to always put it in your code. You can customize it the way you want it. Okay, you understand logout now. I've not explained logout. I hope we understand how logout works, right? This is logout here. Let me just quickly show you. It's in the app.js. This is logout. Where is it? Okay, this is it here. Line 70 to line 73. See, app.get is going to be a get request, right? On /logout. So that's what I have in the URL for that logout, /logout. So then you can now clear the cookie. You clear the cookie, you say response.clear cookie. We have this function, clear cookie, in the body of the response. So you now specify where that cookie is being stored. Remember, we stored it inside JWT. So we are asking it to clear it from JWT. Then after clearing it, you should now redirect to the what? To the root directory. That's what we have here. Do you understand? So that's what we have here. Then use this one to handle your error. Remember, we handle error globally. This is a global way of handling your error, that when there is app.get anything that doesn't exist, then you should have this page not found page. You should render this page not found page. Then you can use this and works. I used this before, then I later changed it to this. So you can use this and use this to handle errors. If anything doesn't pass is here, instead of your application breaking, then you can now have this handling it. Do you understand? So, but you can't use the two of them. It's either you use this one or you use this one. So, question,